Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nightcap. We have a great show for you tonight, but first, let's get into a quick intro. And that was our intro. Welcome to Nightcap. I'm your host, B Rich. Thank you for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. We have a great show for you tonight. Before we get into the show, just make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. It really helps the content go a long way with the algorithm and things of that nature. But I ain't gonna hold you. Let's get right into it. So for tonight's show, our first icebreaker, our first topic, however you want to say, icebreaker. I like icebreaker. Love without looks. So I want to pose this scenario, however you want to say, topic, question. No, scenario. I want to go with scenario. So picture this. You have somebody, they perfect on paper, values, vibe, everything, but you can't see them until the wedding day or until y'all get married. No pics, no FaceTime, no nothing. Would you still say I do? Would you still marry that person? Now keep in mind, this perfect is your perfect person now on paper. Like for a woman, it might be something like, you want a man a certain height. You want a man to make X amount of dollars. You want a man that has the same religious and morals is you. So he checks all those boxes. And for the men, it's the same thing. You want a woman that has your like motherly qualities. You want a woman that has your same religion and values. Basically, this is your perfect person on paper. They just check every when it comes to whatever your prerequisite is. They check every box when it comes to your prerequisite. But you can't see them until it's time to get married or y'all wedding day. Would you still marry this person? Would you still say I do? And I just posed this question. Me personally, I'm gonna go with me personally first. I'm gonna go with me first before I give my take on it. So me personally, if this person checks everything that I asked for, and I can't see them to the wedding day, I'm taking a gamble, and it's not even a gamble because it's everything I asked for. It's not even a gamble because it's everything I asked for. If they check everything, if I wanted this woman to look a certain way, if I wanted this woman to have certain motherly qualities, if I wanted her to, I don't want her to smoke, I don't want her to drink, whatever it is I got about her. If she checks all my boxes, she checks every box I ask, it's a no burner for me. Like we getting married, we getting married. I just see you on the wedding day, baby. I just see you on the wedding day. And like I said, this is your ideal person on paper. Like I said, all your preferences, they got all your preferences. So if you want them to live in a certain area, they live in that certain area. If you want them to drive this certain type of car, if you wanted them to grow up in this area or etc., 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 all your vibes, you like an outgoing person. Or you might be a type of man that you want your woman to stay home. You like a homebody. You don't want your woman out there in the streets. You want your woman in the house. That's your vibe. That's how you coming. She checked that box. For the women, let's just say, for women, you want a man that's gonna be a family man. Like let's say for the woman, you want to have kids, so you want a man that wants children. He checks that box. Like whatever it is about that particular person, or whatever it is that you want them particular person to have those traits and qualities, this person has all that and more. The only catch to the whole scenario is you can't see them until your wedding day, until y'all get married. That's the first time you get to view this person. But other than that, everything that you would want in a significant other, they have all those on paper. Would you still say I do? Y'all let me know. Drop a comment. Drop a comment. Let me know in the comment section. In the section. Let me know in the chat. You can't see him. No FaceTime, no nothing. You can't talk to him on the phone. But like I keep reiterating, this person here is your ideal person on paper. Would you still get married to this person? And where I'm going with it, and where I want to go with it tonight on Nightcap, with your host Be Rich. But tonight on Nightcap, where I want to go with it, I'm trying to separate the physical attachment to everything else that a person brings to the table. Is the physical that much of a deal breaker when it comes to a relationship? I'll say it again. Is the physical or looks that much important to a relationship when it comes to a relationship with the person that you gonna be with? Is that a deal breaker? Like if this person checks all your and like I said, all the good habits you want them to have too. Like maybe you a type of person like you don't like people who snore. So you don't want your significant other to be a snorer. So that person doesn't snore on like whatever it is about your preferences and your prerequisites, like I keep reiterating, this person checks all those and more. The only catch to the whole question is you can't see this person, no pics, no FaceTime. You don't know what they look like. Is looks that much important nowadays to people to where they would bypass everything they see on paper just because they couldn't look at this person before they got married? I really want to know y'all opinion, and I really want to get y'all take on this. Like how I said, for me, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. If they check everything, if I got a woman, I want her to have motherly qualities. You know, I want her to have a good heart. You know what I'm saying? I want her to be a good woman. I want her to care about other people. I want her to have some type of have some type of religious foundation. I'm not saying she necessarily just got to live in brick, but some type of foundation when it comes to God. Basically, when it comes, not even religion, God. I really want to say God. Like have some type of foundation when it comes to God. Another prerequisite for me, like how I said, she can't smoke. Um, Another prerequisite, um, just like how I said, like have a good heart, care about people, just care about others in general. Just smart, funny. If she checked all those boxes for me on paper, like I could care less about the looks. Cause I know at the end of the day, looks ain't everything. And at the end of the day, looks are gonna fade away, but what's gonna still be there is whatever that person is in their core. Whoever you are at the end of the day, that's who you are. It's plenty of people that look beautiful on the outside, but they're ugly on the inside. Let me say that again for the ones in the back who didn't hear it. It's plenty of people that look beautiful on the outside, but that are ugly on the inside. Men and women. He, she, them, they, all. Is plenty of human beings. However you want to word it. They are beautiful on the outside. They are model material. They are this, that, and the third. But when it comes to their inside, they have no core values. They shallow, hollow. Is nothing on the inside. It's like a jelly donut, but it's just no, it's no little jelly filling on it, no little jelly filling inside the little donut. It's just a little bread on the outside. There's no little jelly on the inside. That's all they are. Are we that superficial nowadays when it comes to looks? Are we too attached to looks and physical? I believe in this society we are. Everything is so we too visually stimulated in this society. Everything is looks. Everything gotta look a certain way. Look this way. Look that way. It's too much visual stimulation going on in our society. Are we only chasing what we see instead of the other attributes that when it comes to this particular person you are overlooking? Are we only chasing? She got a fat ass. She got big titties. For the women, he's 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", or whatever, 6'4". Chiseled jawline. Rico Suave. Julio Iglesias. See what I'm saying? But yeah, are we only chasing what we see, the physical, instead of the other attributes that a whole human being comes with. They got a good heart. They got a good mind. They kind. They caring. Sweet. Loving. People are overlook all those great attributes in a human being based solely how they look on the outside. And it's vice versa. You'll have a person that looks good on the outside, might look stunning. She might be model material. She might be Victoria's Secret model. She might be runway, you know, Vogue, you know, centerfold. You see what I'm saying? But on the inside, like how I keep saying, she's shallow. She very insecure. She mean, nasty spirited. Don't even want to be around this person for more than 5 minutes before you trying to get your nut and get going, bruh. Cause you like, I can't be around shawty. Like, she is just such a terrible person. I don't care how she look. Yeah, the sex good, but take that away from it. Take the looks away from it. Take her head game out of the scenario. Like, she trash. Vice versa for the women. He might take you to Pound Town, but you know what I'm saying? He a terrible guy at the end of the day. He's a scumbag. I'm back to using my word. He's a scumbag. Shawty, you messing around with scumbags, man. You better than that, baby. You better than that, baby. Why you messing around with this scumbag? This scumbag dude, like, come on. Are we that attracted to physical nowadays? Are we only chasing what we see instead of other attributes? And it's 100 attributes I can name that people have in them. I just named a few. Those are just a few that popped in my mind just now. You know, I can name other attributes about certain people. The way they think. The way they just want others to succeed is an attribute in some people's I love. Like, some people just want you to succeed. It's some women out here, they just want you to win. Shawty just want you to win, bro. That's all she want. She just wants you. If you win, she win. Y'all win. We win. You see what I'm saying? We win at the end of the day. It's so many, it's so many attributes in people. No, it's people who take it. Certain people who take time, like certain people have certain skills in certain things, and they take time out their day just to do stuff for free for people. We'll overlook all that because we'll say he ugly, she ugly, they ugly, or whatever. People nowadays are so superficial, bruh. They care so much about how things look, bruh. It is ridiculous. It is crazy out here. Everybody is trying to live this picture perfect, I don't know, scenario. Everybody wants this picture perfect woman or this picture perfect man. And they walking by so many good people with so many good qualities. They blind. They blind. You got so many people out here blinded nowadays. They on social media, scrolling. They neglecting their partner, looking on social media at other people, fantasizing about X, Y, and Z and A, B, and C. We overlooking so many just incredible human beings nowadays because of what they look like, what they can afford, how they talk, where they from, what they got on, what you sound like. There's so many people getting overlooked nowadays, bro. We are so attached to the physical. That's the question. Are we too attached to looks and physical? Are we only chasing physical instead of other attributes that people come with? The other attributes that people possess, qualities that they possess. Are you only with this person for what it looks like at the end of the day? Are you only with this significant other for what it looks like? For women, are you only with this man for the whatever comes with this man, the status, the look of now I'm broadening it now I'm broadening the aspect of the whole situation. Now I focus in, it started off just on looks physical. Now take a step back and broaden it out. Are you attached to how it looks in the bigger scope of things? Are you with this man, shouted, just because of the look, just because of the status? Did you overlook so many good men to get with this man just because of what came with this man? Just because of the status or the financial situation? Are you that attached to the looks of the financial aspect of the situation? Did you overlook so many other men with amazing qualities just because this man looks a certain way? He makes a certain amount of money. He lives in a certain area. He drives a certain car. Are you that attached to the looks of the situation? And the same goes for the man. Are you that attached to this woman, bro? This shallow woman, bro? Just because of how she look? Just because she got a 100,000 followers on Instagram? 200,000? A million? Are you with this? Are you with this woman over here just because she has X amount of followers on Instagram, and you get to tell everybody, yeah, bro, yeah, I'm tapping that, bro. Yeah, shout it, yeah, shout it on IG, yeah, she got a million plus, yeah, NBA players and football players in her DM. Is that why you talking to her, bro? Are you just attracted to the look of the situation? Did you pass up so many other amazing women on the way just to be with this woman who 9 times out of 10, like I said, very insecure, looks good on the outside, but it ain't good on the inside. She got hate in her heart. Are you with this woman, bruh? Are you with this woman just for that? Just for the status? And it goes deeper than that. Let's broaden it. We started out on physical looks, then we went next, then we went one layer up to how the situation looks, and then let's see how it looks in every aspect of your life. Are you attached to certain situations just because how it looks? Are you attached to your job just because of the status that job brings? Are you attached to certain to family just because of whatever benefit you getting out of the situation, how it looks? Are you attached to certain friend groups? Are you attached to certain social circles, etc.? Just because how it looks. You don't even like these people. Your values and their values don't even agree. But just because how it looks, how it's supposed to be, I'm supposed to be hanging with them. I'm a cool kid. I'm supposed to be hanging with the cool crowd. Man, fuck the Breakfast Club. Fuck the cool crowd. Fuck, yeah. Excuse my language, but it's Nightcap. Everybody here should be have the mental capacity to excuse some things that I do. So yeah, excuse that because I'm trying not to cuss, trying not to cuss and use better words. So I apologize. But yeah, are you attached to certain social circles? Like how I said, you don't even agree with these people. Your values and their values do not align. But just cause everybody say you gotta hang with them, you gotta hang with them. And you so afraid to go hang with that person over there that you really like, dang, I find them kind of interesting. I like how they think. I like their spirit, bro. I like where it's coming from on the inside. But you so afraid, you so stuck in your mind. You so stuck in what it's supposed to look like. You keep chasing what it's supposed to be, and that's why your life ain't going where it's supposed to go. You too busy chasing what you think it should be, and your life ain't gonna never go where it's supposed to go until you change that. At the end of the day, you gotta change that. And I'm about to wrap this segment up. This is just my icebreaker segment. We about to get into into the meat and potatoes of the show, but this was just the icebreaker. But you too afraid at the end of the day to do what you really want to do, hang with who you really want to hang with, be with who you want to be with because of how things look. You too afraid. It's not the other person. It's not them. And it's not the other people telling you that's like, oh, you want to hang with them? It's not them either. At the end of the day, is you. You gotta make the choice at the end of the day. Is you gonna be free at the end of the day? Or are you going to let yourself succumb to your limitations, i.e., the physical? You got to make the choice at the end of the day. It's not on nobody else. But if you keep hanging with these same people, if you keep going to that same job, if you keep talking to them same people in your family, if you keep staying in that same relationship just because of how things look, or how you think they should look, because it's all based off what you think, what he think, what she think. It's all smoke and mirrors. You gonna keep getting them same results. You ain't gonna never truly be free at the end of the day until you do what you wanna do. Do you? You know our slogan for Nightcap. Do you? Not just do it. Do you? Be free. Don't limit yourself to what the situation's supposed to look like. And that's with relationships, like I said, job, family, friends, social clubs. Don't limit yourself to how it's supposed to look like. If you find them people over there interesting, go over there and talk to them. If you find her interesting, go talk to her. If you find him interesting, go talk to him. It don't matter what it look like. Don't matter what she look like. If you a certain race and that person's another certain race, but you vibing with them, go vibe with that person. Be free. Do you? Y'all know my slogan. We gonna keep the show moving though, cause I can go all night on this one. So we gonna keep the show moving, and I'm gonna get into what I really want to get into tonight, and what the show mainly is about tonight. So on tonight's show, topic number 1: feelings versus facts. Emotional control in relationships. So give me 1 second because I want to share my screen because I want to bring something up. Give me 1 second. There we go. Come on. It's like clockwork. So our first topic for the night, feelings versus facts, emotional control in relationships. And I want to start off tonight by talking about emotional control, how to control your emotions when it comes to relationships and just outside of relationships because it's going to help you in your relationships and all aspects of your life. So first, I want to read a quick definition or overview for emotional control. So let me move this out the way so we can get into it. So emotional control. Emotional control, also known as emotional regulation, is the ability to manage and respond to one's emotions in a healthy way. It involves understanding and influencing which emotions you have, when you have them, and how you experience and express them. This skill is crucial for overall well-being, healthy relationships, and effective functioning in various situations. I'm going to read that again. Emotional control, also known as emotional regulation, is the ability to manage and respond to one's emotions in a healthy way. It involves understanding and influencing which emotions you have, when you have them, and how you experience and express them. This skill is crucial for overall well-being, healthy relationships, and effective functionings in various situations. Key aspects of emotional control. Understanding emotions. So, the main aspect of emotional control is understanding your emotions. Let me say that again. The main aspect of emotional control is understanding your emotions. And emotional control, again, is also known as emotional regulation, and it's the ability to manage and respond to one's emotions in a healthy way. So, like how I told y'all, we healing, we healing, we healing. So, this is how we heal, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, like how I said a couple of episodes back when I was talking about trauma and triggering. So, when you develop emotional control or when you start to build up emotional control, think of emotional control as a bar or a cup. So when you start to pour into your emotional control, you will see that you will better regulate your emotions better. And this is how you build healthy emotional people going forward. Let me say that again. This is how you build healthy, emotional, stable people going forward. First, we have to break down the definition. Emotional control, that's emotional regulations. You regulate and control your emotions. This way you won't get triggered by your trauma going forward, ladies and gentlemen. We getting into it tonight. Nightcap, let's go. Key aspects of emotional control. Understanding emotions. Recognizing and labeling your emotions is the first step in managing them. Let me say that again for the ones in the back. Recognizing and labeling your emotions is the first step in managing them. You have to be able to recognize your emotions. You have to be able to label the emotions. There are different emotions, ladies and gentlemen. All emotions are not the same. Some emotions are anger, happy, sad, anxious. These are different emotions. You have to be able to understand them. You have to be able to recognize them. That's how you're going to be able to control your emotions. So you're going to have to be able to recognize when you get angry. So that way you can control your anger. So that way your anger doesn't trigger your trauma going forward. We getting into it. We just warming up. Let go. I just gotta warm her up right quick. You know that? Yeah, warm her up right quick. Yeah. Identifying triggers. Pinpointing situations, thoughts, or events that trigger specific emotions can help you anticipate and prepare for them. Choosing appropriate responses. Instead of reacting impulsively, emotional control involves consciously selecting how to respond to emotions in a way that is constructive and aligned with your goals. Y'all, is it clicking? Is it clicking out? Is it where the stress go? No more stressing. Where the stress go? Where the stress go? Yeah, no more stressing. Yeah, no more trauma. No more. Yeah, we not getting triggered no more. Where it go? Yeah, that's over with. Why is that over with? Cause now you know what emotional control is. You know what's triggering you. You know your trauma. You identifying those triggers, you pinpointing situations, the thoughts, the emotions that come with that. You anticipating that, you preparing for that. Why? Because it's gonna help you reach your goal in the end. Not spazzing out, not blacking out, not being argumentative. Certain women, certain men not getting a DV charge and having to go through the system, bruh. We cooking tonight, man. Let me keep cooking, bro. Hold on, bro. I can't, bro. I can't. I cannot. I can't do it. You see what I'm saying? No. No. Yes. Yes. No. I don't know. Let's keep going. Regulating emotional expressions. This includes managing the intensity and durations of emotion, as well as how you outwardly express them. So when you're able to regulate your emotions and express them, you'll be able to manage it. So when you know certain things, the duration ain't as long. So you don't get mad no more. You Shawty used to make you mad, bro, all day. She used to call you in the morning at your job. You see what I'm saying? Say you ain't shit. You don't take care of your kids, all this. She trauma bonding with you, bro. You used to get upset at the job. Now you been pissed off at the job all day. Getting into it with everybody, telling everybody, don't talk to me today, bro. Don't talk. This ain't the day. Now you ain't doing that no more, bro. You have emotional control. You controlling your emotions, bro. She had that conversation. She want to trauma bond with you. She better go do it with some other dude. Click, hang up. You ain't mad at the job all day, bro. By the time you hang up the phone, you ain't even that's gone, bro. That's over with. And the same thing goes for my ladies out there. He calling you, saying you the only one, you know he cheating on you, this, that, and the third. You trying to drop the kid off at school, go to work. It's probably your second job. You working right now. You ain't engaging in that negativity with your baby daddy or your boyfriend or your fiance or whoever he is to you. You ain't doing that no more. You learning how to control your emotions. You have emotional control. You have emotional regulations. Know how to regulate. You identifying that man is triggering you. You pinpointing that situation. He putting them thoughts in your head about infidelity and cheating and everything. You know how to express it now. You not heartbroken all day on this man. By the time you get done texting him, it's over with. It's done. We gonna keep moving, man. We cooking, man. We cooking with hot grease, man. This just a little, man, we ain't even got into the steak and potatoes, man. Mac and cheese. You know what I'm saying? Developing coping strategies, learning and practicing techniques like mindfulness, cognitive reappraisal, and deep breathing can help you manage difficult situations. So when you see you do get triggered and you do get emotionally mad and upset, you take a step back, take a deep breath, shawty. Bruh, take a deep breath. It's gonna be all right. Learn and practice techniques, cognitive reappraisal. It's going to help you manage your emotions. And this is why emotional control is important. I'm bringing it to you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on Nightcap. Thank you for being with me. Be Rich, your host with the most. I do it for y'all. I do it for us. And I still do it for them too. I ain't forgot about them. See, that's the thing. That's the thing between about me and them. I ain't forgot about them. I'm going to keep going because I'm cooking. I don't want to get off path. But I'm bringing it to y'all tonight. Emotional control, emotional regulation is how you not going to get triggered by your trauma going forward. Let's go. And this is why emotional control is important. Improve mental health. Emotional regulation is linked to lower stress level, reduced anxiety and depression, and increased overall well-being. Stronger relationships. When you can manage your emotions effectively, you are better equipped to communicate your needs, empathize with others, and resolve conflicts constructively. Enhance performance. In work and other settings, emotional controls allows you to stay focused, manage stress, and make better decisions. Increase resilience. Individuals with good emotional control are better able to bounce back from setbacks and adapt to challenge situations. This is the key right here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm bringing it tonight to you on Nightcap. Like, comment, share, subscribe, make this go viral. Every human being, every man, woman, us, we, them, I'm included in all that too. We need to start implementing and practicing emotional control, emotional regulation, because the benefits are endless. It's going to help you lower your stress, your overall well-being. You're going to have less anxiety. You're not going to be depressed, baby girl, baby boy. You're going to be able to focus now. You're going to be able to make better decisions, baby boy. You see what I'm saying? And even if you do slip up a little bit, if you have great and good emotional control and regulation, you're going to bounce back like this. Nobody's going to be able to ever keep you down when you're going to be able to control your emotions. Ladies and gentlemen, I just gave you the key to life. All you got to do is walk through the door. Just walk through the door. I got the key. I opened it for you. Just walk through for me, for us. I'm walking through with you. I'm walking through with you. Cause somebody showed me the key. Somebody showed, yeah, that where the key at over there. Let me keep going. Developing emotional control. Practice mindfulness. Paying attention to your thoughts and feelings without judgment can help you become more aware of your emotional state. My bad, y'all. There we go. I'll read it from the top again. Developing emotional control. Practicing mindfulness Practice mindfulness. Paying attention to your thoughts and feelings without judgment can help you become more aware of your emotional state. Engage in cognitive reappraisal. Reframing negative thoughts or situation in a more positive light can help shift your emotional response. Seek support. Talking to a therapist or counselor can provide guidance and support in developing your emotional control skills. Be patient and persistent. Developing emotional control is a skill that takes time and practice. In essence, emotional control is about becoming more aware of your emotions and learning to manage them in a way that supports your overall well being and allows you to navigate life's challenges effectively. And that's according to the Mental Health Foundation. And if they don't know it, I don't know it, we don't know it, you ain't gonna never know it. Emotional control, ladies and gentlemen. Emotional control, emotional control, emotional control. I had to say it 3 times for the ones in the back so they can get it. We cooking, so we gonna keep staying in the kitchen. Let's go. I gotta share this right quick, so y'all bear with me for 1 second. But yeah, y'all drop a comment in the chat. Y'all drop a comment. Y'all let me know emotional control. Emotional control. I'm gonna read that last one because that was just the emotional control is about becoming more aware of your emotions. So when you become aware of your emotions, when you are aware of your emotions, you learn how to manage them better. And it's gonna bring it's really the key to life. Them folks gonna never be able to ever yeah. Them folk gonna never be able to try you again. You know how to control your emotions. Let me do this right quick because I have to share this right quick and we can get it. Keep it going. Keep it going. So I like where it's going. I like this talk. I like this talk. This is for everybody, men, women. Everybody isn't, and everybody up under the sun. I don't. That's one of my rules. I'm all inclusive. I'm never exclusive. I don't give a damn about no in crowd. Excuse my language. All that over. This is for everybody. Need to practice. This is from the CEO to everybody. To everybody on the first floor. This is everybody. I don't care what position, where you at in life. This is for old folks, young folks, men, women, poor, rich. I don't care what side of the world you live on. This emotional control. Everybody, I don't care what your job title is, how much money you got in the bank. I don't care nothing about your accolades or whatever you got going on. You need to be practicing emotional control. We gonna keep it moving though. Emotional regulation. Emotional regulation is the ability to exert control over one's own emotional state. It may involve behaviors such as rethinking a challenging situation to reduce anger or anxiety, hiding visible signs of sadness or fear, or focusing on reasons to feel happy or calm. Let me read that again. Emotional regulation is the ability to exert control over one's own emotional state. It may involve behaviors such as rethinking a challenging situation to reduce anger or anxiety, hiding visible signs of sadness or fear, or focusing on reasons to feel happy or calm. Let's keep going. How we control our emotions. While there are many ways to influence one's emotional state for the better, emotional regulation often involves what experts call down regulation or reducing the intensity of emotions. A grieving person might down regulate his sadness by recalling something amusing. An anxious person might cope by distracting herself from the thought that is causing her anxiety. Emotional regulation can also include up regulations or amping up one's emotions, which can be useful when an imminent danger or challenge calls for a healthy dose of anxiety or excitement. The process model of emotional regulation proposed by psychologist James Groves emphasizes that people can act to control their emotions at different points in time, including before they feel an emotion, antecedent focus emotion regulation, and after they have already begun to react, emotional response focus emotion regulation. So the process model of emotional regulation, let me read that part again. The process model of emotion regulation proposed by psychologist James Groves emphasizes that people can act to control their emotions at different points in time. So James Groves is a clinical psychologist, and basically what he is saying is you can control your emotions. You have the power to control your emotions. You making yourself upset, or you making yourself happy, or you making yourself sad, or you making yourself etc etc etc, you have the power. James Gross is a clinical psychologist. This is psychology today. So yeah. And basically what he's saying is you have the power to control your emotions at different points in times or at all times. You getting yourself upset, or you making yourself mad, you making yourself happy, or you making yourself joyful. You have willpower. Let me say that again. You have the willpower to create whatever you want to create. If you want your universe to be sad, you have the willpower to create that universe. If you want your universe to be happy and joyful and abundant, you have the willpower to do that. You can control your emotions at the end of the day. Nobody else is controlling it. Nobody has power over you. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. These people don't have power over you. You have the power. All the power is inside of you. When you learn emotional control, emotional regulation. Let me keep going because I'm cooking. I should have been a chef. I probably was a chef in another life, but that's a whole nother different story though. But while I'm reading this, I want you to be thinking about certain things. What does emotional control actually look like in a healthy relationship when it comes to men and women or your significant other? What does emotional control actually look like in that relationship? When you demonstrate and practice emotional control, how does it look when you are in a relationship with somebody? You know what I mean? Where did I leave off at? Oh, right there. Okay. No need. What are some basic ways of controlling emotions? Two broad categories of emotion regulation are reappraisal, changing how one thinks about something that prompted an emotion in order to change one's response, and suppression, which has been linked to more negative outcomes. Other strategies include selecting or changing a situation to influence one's emotional experience, shifting what one pays attention to, and trying to accept emotions. So they saying some basic ways you can control your emotions are first changing the situation to influence your emotional experience. So if that person is triggering you or making you upset or causing certain emotions out of you, you need to change the situations. You need to stop being around that person, or you need to not deal with certain people if they are triggering you in certain ways to bring certain emotions out of you. That's how you control your emotions. Another way to control your emotion is accepting emotions. Don't neglect your emotions. Accept your emotions. Accept the fact that you have feelings, baby boy, bruh. Accept the fact you got feelings. I don't care how grown you be, a 40-year-old, 50-year-old, 30, 20-year-old man. I don't care how old you is, bro. You got emotions, bro. Straight up. You got emotions. I don't care how hard you try to act and all this thug life, Tupac, rest in peace. Like, you got emotions, bro. And you need to accept that fact. And that's how you learn how to control your emotions. And the same also goes for women. You need to learn how to accept certain emotions you have. And that way you can regulate your emotions. Real men know just women are emotional, period. Like, if you're a real man, you know women are emotional and you accept that they are emotional creatures, you know. But that don't give them the excuse to just do any and every whatever they want to at the end of the day. Like, you ain't about to just do what you want over here. Also, I want to say thank thank you everybody for um tuning in to tonight's broadcast. I really appreciate it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps the content grow and go a long way. Also, if you're viewing this right now live on Instagram, our Instagram live feed is about to end. That's not because of me. That's just because of how things work in life. I'm controlling my emotions. I'm not getting emotional about it. I'm rolling with the punches. But yeah, so if you're watching on Instagram live right now, if you would just head over to YouTube or head over to Kick or Twitch. Um we broadcast everything NiteCap ATL. So if you watching right now on Instagram live, just head over to YouTube, Kick or Twitch, NiteCap ATL to continue watching. But the Instagram live is going to end in about 60 seconds. So I'm just letting people know that. But we gonna keep it moving. We gonna keep it moving. So yeah, those are some basic ways to control your emotions. Like how I said, accepting your emotions, paying attention to your emotions, changing the situation, changing certain situations that are causing certain emotions out of you. Excuse me. Ooh, I apologize. Excuse me. So where was I? Okay, how can I learn to control emotional outbursts? Practicing habits such as mindful acceptance of emotions, shifting attention away from the source of negative emotions, or reframing emotional situations such as thinking about a setback or mistake as an opportunity to learn may be helpful. And a trained therapist could be a valuable partner in enhancing emotional control. So therapy is always a good choice, a good answer, a good therapy. How much can you really control your emotions? While emotions may never be completely subject to conscious control, it likely depends on which aspect of emotional experience one tries to control. One may quickly experience an intense initial negative feeling, but choose to reappraise the cause of the feeling or accept it and let it pass. averting further distress and negative behavior. Basically, you recognize that you do have emotions and you just let it pass. You don't sit on it. You don't think about it too long. It was an emotion. It happened, and you continue on about your day, about your life, etc., etc., etc. How can I help my children? Okay, we do need to help the kids, but all right, we're gonna keep it moving. Why emotional? This one I want to put. So why emotional regulation is important. Unlike small children, adults are expected to be able to manage their emotions. Let me highlight and say that again, man. Let me just highlight all that, bro, so y'all really get the gist of that, bro. Listen to what that says. Listen to what they saying. And this is why emotional control, emotional regulation is so important, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody out there. Aliens, everybody need to practice emotional control. I don't care what it is. Every creature need to practice emotional control. Why emotional regulation is important. Unlike small children, adults are expected to be able to manage their emotion, especially anxiety and anger, in a manner that is socially acceptable. So, you are an adult. You're supposed to be able to know your emotions, know your triggers, know your positive and negative influences, and you're supposed to be able to regulate them socially. That's what it is to be an adult. That's what it is to be grown. That's socially accepted. You're not supposed to be going crazy. Like when you see people lashing out and going crazy wherever you at, it can be anywhere in life. But when you see grown folks lashing out and going crazy, they like, bro, you can't control your emotions. Like you in public. Like you not at home, bro. Or shout it. You not at home. This is a social setting. Control your emotions. Be an adult. Be grown. We accept that from little children. When a little kid lashes out and gets upset and can't get what they want, we accept that. They are kids. They don't know how to control their emotions. When my nieces and nephew get mad and get upset with me, I let them. I know they children. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. My little cousins and stuff. Yeah, they kids, bro. I don't take it to heart. And I don't expect them to act like an adult because they are kids. They just learning their emotions. But when I see a 30-year-old women going crazy out in public, when I see 40-year-old men trying to square up and fight with me, I'm like, dog, we still doing that? Like, bruh, only time I'm fighting another man is like defending myself, bro. I'm not going around bullying niggas. Excuse my language. You about to get raw for the night, bro. I'm not going around out here bullying niggas. Little niggas I know I can bully and some big niggas. I ain't out here going out here bullying niggas. I know how to control my emotions. I ain't looking for nothing, but I'm ending everything that come over here. Straight up. Anything that come this way get obliterated. It don't even no traces of nothing. But I'm not going out here looking for smoke. But if it come over here, yeah. What's going on? I know how to control my emotions. Let me keep cooking. See, cooking, smoke, y'all ain't even double entendre, but y'all don't get that. So let me just read it from the top because why emotional regulation is important. Unlike small children, adults are expected to be able to Adults are expected to be able to manage their emotions, especially anxiety and anger, in a manner that is socially acceptable. When emotional control fails, people often say or do things they later regret in which they had been able to keep their emotions in check. Emotion dysregulation is a component of certain forms of mental illness. Over time, it could have negative impact on one's own personal well-being and social relationships. I ain't playing with y'all tonight. I ain't this nightcap. I'm not. I don't come here to play, bro. I come here to heal. I'm the healer. Yeah, the healer. Yeah. Did y'all? You got that? You understood that out there? You grasped that? If you didn't, I will read it again and again and again till it hit you dead in the forehead. Y'all really need to break this down and listen up. When emotional control fails, people often say or do things they later regret in which they had been able to keep their emotions in check. When your emotions fail you, you fail in life. Straight up. When your emotions fail you, you do and say things you don't normally do and say. I know you. You don't normally do and say these things. But when you ain't got your emotions in check, it's different. You do and say them things. And then you wish you had not done and said them things. Mm-mm-mm. Emotion dysregulation is a component of certain forms of mental illness. Man, people out here walking around with mental illness every day and you don't know it. You interacting with these people on a daily basis and you don't know. They have emotional dysregulation. They have a mental illness going on. And they about to snap on you and everybody around you. Over time, it can have a negative impact on your personal well-being, i.e., your mental state and your social relationships. Example, your relationship with your significant other or your partner. What are the hardest emotions to control? Anger, resentment, and disappointment are universally experienced states. People can work to control and mitigate these feelings, but should not needless pathologize them. Pathologic. Oh man, it's a tongue twister for me. Pathologize, yeah. Pathologize, yeah, them. That's a tongue twister. Uh, Pushing P. In some cases, though, a lack of appropriate emotional regulation may be a sign of a mental health condition such as borderline personality disorder or depression. So, people who can't control their emotions, people, people who lack appropriate emotional regulation, they might have um personality disorder and they are probably going through depression. So unbalanced emotions equals depression. Unbalanced emotions equals borderline personality disorder or I forgot what it's called. It's called BPD. BPD. What are some consequences of poor emotional regulation? There are obvious hazards of not properly moderating emotions like anger, anxiety, or fear. Harm to relationships from overreaction, unnecessary suffering, foregone opportunities that seem too daunting. Certain ways of regulating emotions, certain ways of regulating emotion regulation, such as regularly bottling them in, may also be associated with lower well-being and satisfaction with relationships. So some of the consequences of poor emotional regulation Some of the consequences of poor emotional regulations are having emotions like anxiety, anger, and fear, and you might miss certain opportunities because they seem too daunting. They might be, you might think they're too challenging. You might be too afraid, too scared. You just basically in your head about the situation. Also overreacting to certain situation, and you just basically causing unnecessary suffering on yourself. So those are some of the consequences of when you have poor emotional regulations. What makes controlling your emotions more difficult? A variety of factors might impede emotional regulation, including beliefs about negative emotions, that they are bad, or that we're not able to control them, a lack of emotion regulation skills, or situations that evoke especially powerful emotions, which is why situation selection is considered an emotion regulation strategy. Uncertain or threatening conditions may make emotional flooding and diminished control more likely. So, what make controlling your emotion more difficult? So your belief system about emotions and negative emotions, and how they are generally considered bad. um and most people say negative emotions and you can't control them. A lack of emotional regulation skills, and situations that put you in, or situations that invoke powerful emotions. And that's why they said that you should practice situation selection. And situation selection is basically not putting yourself in certain situations so you won't get triggered by certain emotions or certain thoughts or certain memories or certain people or certain actions, etc., etc., etc. I thought it was another part to that. So yeah, emotional regulation, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, and all the creatures that God created, because we all just creations of God, so we all the same. So I'm gonna keep it going and keep it, but emotional control, ladies and gentlemen, emotional control. And I also want to say this while as I bring up my next. Hold on, let me bring this up first. Well, no, I'll say this first. Reacting off feelings might feel good in the moment, but responding with clarity lasts longer. I'm gonna say that again. Reacting off feelings might feel good in the moment, but responding with clarity lasts longer. And when you develop good emotional regulation, you will have clarity in a lot of your decisions moving forward. You won't respond so much off emotions. You won't say, I'm angry, so I'm about to slap this person. You will recognize that this situation has got me angry, and you will be able to walk away from the situation. You will have clarity. And what's that clarity gonna do for you? That clarity is gonna do for you, like I said earlier, you won't regret slapping, because you might see somebody, if they make you angry, you slap them. Now you regret slapping them. When you develop emotional regulation and emotional control, You see that person, they get you angry. Instead of slapping them, you have emotional control. You regulate your emotions and you walk away from that situation that has caused you to trigger you to get angry. You don't end up slapping that person and you don't end up regretting it. You might not regret it anyway, but at least nobody got slapped today. That's a positive. And you might be in a public setting with public people. So instead of you slapping them and going crazy, you know what I mean? Instead of you slapping them and going crazy, you control your emotions. So now the establishment ain't got to call the police on you. You ain't got to get arrested and get a record and all this crazy stuff that come with that. But we keeping it moving. We keeping it moving. Cut this down, man. I'm about to pull up. We keeping it moving. But yes, everybody out there, emotional control. Give me 1 second. What is emotional regulation and how to practice it? And I always like to give credit to the author when I read articles because people put a lot of time and effort into these articles I be reading. The last article I read, I believe, was from Psychology Today. It was just that was from their entire staff. So what I was reading earlier was from Psychology Today. Um, this article right here, what is emotional regulation, how to practice it. The writer is Marlena Eva, and this is Medium. So yeah, if y'all want to go back and review this good information that these people are sharing, you can. But we're gonna keep it moving. So let's get into this one. Emotional regulation is a skill that will help you develop a healthy relationship with yourself. And we not trying to be like her right here. See her right here? You ain't trying to be like her. She stressed out. No more stressing. Where the stress go? Where the stress go? Yeah. No more stressing. Don't be like her. I cried so much a couple of days ago because a beloved character in my favorite TV show suffered a brutal death. She was only 17 and had a positive impact on other characters in the show. I love how kind and empathetic she was, often trying to help others without asking for anything in return. I didn't know that while grieving this character's loss, I was doing emotional regulation. Emotional regulation is the ability to respond and regulate emotions as we experience them. Katie Morton, an LA-based family and marriage therapist, thinks that more often than not, people react to their emotions instead of regulating them. Katie describes the opposite of emotional regulation, which is emotional dysregulation. When you are unable to process your emotions, you are underregulating. Underregulation is when you are overwhelmed by your emotions and have a hard time controlling yourself. For example, you yell at a grocery store clerk for not helping you find an item. What did I just say? Hold on. What did I just say? When you see them folks out and about going crazy, going off on the world, not controlling their emotions, bro. I can't make this stuff up. I can't make this stuff up, bro. I'm gonna read that again for y'all. But those people are not demonstrating emotional control. Those people are not demonstrating emotional regulation. They are actually demonstrating the opposite of emotional regulation, and that's emotional dysregulation. So those are the people you see in when you at the Chinese spot getting some Chinese food or takeout, and they yelling at the people about they order wrong, and I ordered egg foo young, and y'all gave me wonton soup, or you know what I'm saying, you at the chicken wing spot and you like, bruh, I ordered a 10-piece flat lemon pepper wet, you know what I'm saying, and they gave you chicken tenders, and now you going off on these people, bruh. Like when you see Shawty in the checkout line, like yelling at the little checkout lady, like this probably her second job, or she might be young, or he might be young, and this might be like, they first job or something like that, and they going off on these people, bruh. That's emotional dysregulation. I'm gonna read it again though. Do not do that, bro. Katie describes the opposite of emotional regulation, which is emotional dysregulation. When you are unable to process your emotions, you are under-regulating. Under-regulation is when you are overwhelmed by your emotions and have a hard time controlling yourself. For example, you yell at a grocery store clerk for not helping you find an item. Over-regulating. This is when you repress your emotions and you refuse to deal with them. Man, you know what I'm saying? All my men out there who ain't dealing with your emotions, you 30 and 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, still ain't dealt with your emotions from when you was 21, bro. You tripping. A combination of the two. What happens if you don't regulate your emotions? There are negative consequences to not engaging in emotional regulation, and all of them affect you and your relationships to a certain degree. You won't know how you feel because you don't know how to identify and label an emotion. You will feel confused and life will be difficult to bear for you. Y'all already know I'm about to read that one again for y'all, bro. What happens if you don't regulate your emotions? There are negative consequences to not engaging in emotional regulation, and all of them affect you and your relationships to a certain degree. So this affects every aspect of your life, not just your life with your significant other or your partner. This also affects how you got to practice emotional control in business. You gotta practice emotional control when you're out and about. You gotta practice emotional control when you in certain social settings. Because if you don't, they gonna all affect you. All affect you in different ways. You won't know how you feel because you don't know how to identify and label an emotion. You will feel confused, and life will be difficult to bear for you. You will feel emotions more intensely than other people. When you suppress emotions, they will show up more intensely in your body. This leads to avoiding the emotion because it's scary. You'll use coping methods like alcohol, drugs, sex, food, or social media to process how you feel. So when people are not able to process their emotions, or when people are not able to deal with their emotions, they go on tangents, and that might include alcohol. They you know that might include, you know what I'm saying, they use coping mechanisms. You know what I mean? When people are not able to control, when you're not able to control your emotions, or when you avoid your emotions, then you'll replace that emotion with something else, like alcohol. They like to drink away their problems. Drugs, they like to get high. whatever their choice of drug is. Sex, they try to fuck away their problems. Excuse my French, but this is Nightcap, and y'all know how we do it. And food, they try to eat away their problems. Or what they do, they turn to social media. They sit on social media all day and go into that whole dimension, or that whole you know what I mean? They go into that whole mind frame. Doom scrolling. They doom scroll till they can't scroll no more. You know what I mean? You will engage in impulsive you will engage in impulsive behaviors and bad decision making. So when you don't have the emotional control, you're going to engage in impulsive behaviors and bad decision making. When you are avoiding emotions, you will engage more often in decisions that are more dangerous to your well-being. You hurting yourself. You hurting yourself by neglecting your emotions. That's dangerous. That's scary. Example, having sex with strangers to numb an emotion, or gambling to avoid dealing with a repressed memory. So people who always gambling heavy, they might be trying to escape something. They keep trying to gamble. They keep trying to get that. They keep trying to repress that memory, or repress that memory that's attached to that certain emotion. They keep trying to repress that. What does that do? That makes them gamble. So they try to replace that with the thrill of gambling, with the excitement, with the adrenaline of gambling. When you avoid your emotions, you engage in decisions that are dangerous to your well-being. You have sex with strangers. You trying to fuck away your problems. You having sex with strangers. You trying to numb an emotion instead of identifying the emotion. A lot of people, including me, can relate to that. A lot of people try to fuck away their emotions. I can relate to that. I can relate to that. Try to fuck away my problems. It don't work. I tried it, y'all. It don't work. Be honest with y'all. It's Nightcap. I'm healing with y'all too. I'm in the healing process. I'm healing with y'all. I've been there. And if you done fuck, you know what I'm saying? Just out there fucking to be fucking, then you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. We ain't gotta, we gonna keep it. But yeah, you have a hard time managing stress. This is just be rich, Nightcap, emotional control, emotional regulation. You have a hard time managing stress. People who don't practice emotional regulation don't know how to cope with stress. This leads to developing anxiety or an anxiety disorder, which can make day-to-day life hard to deal with. You stressed out. On a day in and day out, you stressed out. You got anxiety. You got an anxiety disorder. You developing anxiety. This is what happens to people when they don't practice emotional regulation. They stressed out. You have a difficult time connecting with others. When you avoid negative emotions, you'll try to avoid positive ones as well. Positive ones like joy, excitement, sexual desire, and love are crucial in relationships. And so you'll be avoiding these as well. So you think by avoiding negative emotions that you're just going to be able to avoid emotions, and it's not, I mean, just that emotion, just the negative one, and it's not like that. When you avoid negative emotions, avoid all emotion. You avoid emotions altogether, and that includes positive ones. So when you suppress and when you avoid your negative emotions like your anger, you're also going to avoid positive emotions like your joy. So as long as you're angry, you're never going to have joy in your life. You see what I'm saying? As long as you angry, you're never going to have joy. As long as you sad, you're never going to be happy. That's how it works. That's how it works. You're going to keep doing that. And these emotions are crucial. Positive emotions, excitement, sexual desire. Sexual desire is not a negative emotion, it's a positive emotion. We all have sexual desires because we're human beings. So we're all going to go through that. Love. Love is a positive emotion. So when you avoid negative emotions like fear and anxiety, you're also going to be avoiding love, happiness. And that's crucial in relationships, especially when it comes to your personal relationship, especially when it comes to your romantic relationship, and especially when it comes to all relationships in general. You will not be able to ask for help or support. People who don't have emotional regulation skills think that expressing an emotion is a sign of weakness or a mental health problem. And because they are scared of showing that they are weak, they won't reach out to psychologists, therapists, or support groups that are meant to guide them and help them through a tough time. So people who cannot practice emotional regulations, they can't ask for help or support. They view it as a mental problem, and they view it as a weakness, and they view it as almost an embarrassment. So instead of getting the help, they never get the help they need. They avoid the help at all costs, which spirals them down further into a hole instead of reaching out to psychologists and therapists and support groups, instead of reaching out to people. I understand that growing up with a narcissistic parent leads to emotional dysregulation. We needed to suppress our negative and positive emotion as children to make the narcissist parent mad or show them our vulnerabilities. We know that narcissists love to prey on others who are vulnerable, show their weaknesses, or express an emotion that is hard to deal with. More often than not, narcissists use our negative emotions to create their famous smear campaigns. However, however, so you might have had a parent who was narcissist, or you might have dealt with narcissists growing up. You might have had a parent or a caretaker who was narcissist, and that led to your emotional dysregulation when you was a child. However, though, you are now an adult. However, though, you are now an adult. Let me say that again. However, as adults, we are not at the mercy of the narcissist parent anymore. We left the toxic parents home, and now we don't have anyone to hide from or protect our vulnerable self from. So now you're an adult, so you don't got that narcissist parent to blame it anymore. You're not at the mercy of them, or you're not. Take the narcissist parent out of the way. It can be a situation. Growing up, you might was in certain situations where you couldn't develop emotional regulation. However, as an adult, you're not at the mercy of that situation anymore. So you can't point the finger and say that's why I'm acting the way I'm acting. Unfortunately, not many adult children of narcissists realize this. As adults, our survival does not depend on our narcissist parents' approval anymore. You're not under their rule of thumb anymore. What we depend on now is our stamp of approval. But have no fear. There are ways of breaking the pattern of emotional dysregulation. Here are three methods of engaging in emotional regulation according to Katie Morgan. Try to practice at least one method daily. So these are three methods I'm about to give you. Three methods. Three methods that you can use going forward to practice emotional regulation. Emotional awareness and acceptance. You can you can identify the emotion in the body and label it. Maybe it's your chest or your shoulders. Maybe you feel fear and it's in your stomach, or perhaps you're sad and you feel a heaviness in your body. Recognize the emotion and accept it for what it is. Don't judge the emotion. It is what it is. Just recognize the emotion and accept it for what it is. Don't put judgment on the emotion or yourself. It is what it is. So, emotional awareness and acceptance. You can develop this skill by doing meditation, body scans, or deep breathing exercise. You can also use the feelings wheel and this is the link right here, to see how you feel. Another method of identifying your emotions is journaling. By writing down how you feel and why, many people want to understand why they suddenly feel angry at a store clerk or cry at the sight of a child, for example. You'll get in touch with your emotions more intimately. You can also do a check in at the end of the day. How did I feel today? Use this question to identify the types of emotions you had to deal with during the day. So, journal your emotions. Keep a journal. So the first method is to be aware of your emotions and accept it and don't judge it, and just to journal your emotions on the daily. That'll help with your emotional control. The second method you can use is reappraisal. This method is about identifying negative thinking patterns and challenging them. If you feel like a failure and you label in a tip and you label in activity you have done as a failure, challenge it. Was this truly a failure, or is this language the one you used as a child to criticize yourself whenever you were around your narcissist parent? So basically, reappraisal is reassessing the situation and shifting from a negative thinking pattern to a different one. Instead of saying I am a failure because I failed, you can say I have tried to accomplish a task and I have not been successful. This is an opportunity to learn more about my skills and about my mindset I need to develop to accomplish something. Sounds a lot better, doesn't it? So that's all you got to do is reappraise the situation. The third method you could use for emotional regulation is healthy coping skills. The opposite of emotional dysregulation is engaging in healthy coping methods. These coping activities are relaxing and promote well-being. For example, going to the gym and releasing that adrenaline in your body, practicing your hobbies for relaxation purposes, taking nature walks, or engaging in creative activities that give you a confidence boost. So just healthy coping skills. And those skills might include certain activities like going to the gym. Another activity is going for a walk or taking walks in nature. Other activities are engaging in creative activities that give you a confidence boost, or just practicing your hobbies for relaxation purposes. So just having hobbies in general can help you with your emotions. Conclusion: growing up in a dysfunctional growing up in a dysfunctional home will not equip you with emotional regulation skills. However, regulating your emotions will lead you to a better, healthier life. Make sure you're practicing these skills as often as possible to ensure your health and the health of your relationships. And when you engage in these skills, these skills are going to help you not only in your relationship when it comes to your significant other and your partner, but these are going to be skills that are going to help you in every aspect of all of your life. So all other aspects of your life are you're going to see a significant improvement because you start practicing these certain skills to help regulate your emotions and develop positive emotional control. I also want to say this about emotional control before I wrap it up on this and move to my last segment of the night for Nightcap with your host Be Rich. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the support. But I want to say this before I move on to my last topic of the night. So, in conclusion, for emotional control, I want to say this. At the heart of emotional control is emotional regulation. So the core of emotional control is emotional regulation. And emotional regulation, which is which is the ability to manage your emotional responses rather than letting them dictate your behavior. So you control your emotions. You have the power, aka free will. You have the power. You have the power to control your emotions and don't let your emotions control you and dictate your behavior and how you moving and acting in the world on the daily. You have the power. You have the willpower to control your emotions and not let your emotions dictate your behavior and control your behavior. When you practice emotional regulation, you give yourself the space to respond with clarity and not just a reaction. That pause between emotion and action is what keeps relationships from spiraling into cycles of drama, miscommunication, or even trauma responses. Let me say that again. When you practice emotional regulation, you give yourself the space to respond with clarity, not just reaction. You clear about your choices and you're not just reacting. And that slight pause between your emotion and your action is what keeps your relationships from spiraling into cycles. So you're going to stop the cycle of the drama or the miscommunication or even the trauma responses. This is how you stop the trauma. This is how you heal, ladies and gentlemen. People, person. This is how you heal. You practice emotional control. You have clarity. And you're going to break the cycle of the miscommunication. Clarity comes from regulation. Clarity is hard to access when you're emotional flooded, aka too angry, too sad, too triggered. So you're never gonna be able to have the clarity you need if you're always emotional flooded, or if you always have too much anger, if you always sad, if you always have anxiety. You're never gonna have clarity, and you're gonna keep going down the cycle and the spiral you have been going down. Regulating emotions doesn't mean ignoring them. It means slowing down to understand why you feel what you feel, so you don't misplace that energy. You control your own happiness. You control your own sadness. You control whether you mad, you joyful. You control your anxiety. You have the power, the willpower, whatever you want to say. I don't care what. I don't care how y'all word it. I don't care how y'all get healed. Just get healed. Just get the help. But you control your own happiness. You have the choice, not the other person in the relationship, not your partner, not your parents, not your children. We'll broaden it up. Not your job or your boss, your co-workers. It's you. You. Let me say that one more time. Regulating emotions doesn't mean ignoring them. So regulating your emotions does not mean that you are not acknowledging your emotions. You are not dysregulating your emotions. Regulating emotion doesn't mean ignoring them. It means slowing down to understand why you feel what you feel, so you don't misplace that energy, so your energy is in the right place. And before I wrap up this topic and get into my last segment of the night, I'm going to leave you with this quote. I want to leave you with this quote, statement, however you want to say it, is all. I want to leave you with this. Psychologically, when we are emotionally triggered, our brain is literally in survival mode. So let me say that again. So psychologically, when we are emotionally triggered, our brain is literally in survival mode. So the first reaction isn't always the clearest one. But in relationships, clarity comes from when you're safe enough to pause, process, and then communicate. So when you are emotionally triggered, your brain goes to survival mode, and 9 times out of 10, the first reaction isn't gonna be the clearest one. It's gonna be because your animal instinct is gonna kick in, and that's gonna be what's gonna drive your decision making. But in relationships, when you have clarity and emotional control, you have time to pause, you have time to process, and then you have time to communicate these things to that person. Emotional control, people. Emotional control. Emotional regulation. So before we get out of here tonight, we have one last, and y'all know at the end we always like to keep it light. We always like to keep it light for the last go round. So for that, y'all know how we do it. So for the last thing we got on tonight's menu, we're gonna keep it light. We're gonna keep it light. We ain't doing too much. If I can pull up the clip, if I can't, then y'all know how we do it. Where is the clip? Okay, I got the clip. Okay, bet it's gonna pull up. All right. So yeah, for the last one, we'll just keep it. We'll just keep it cool for the last one. But I want to play this clip with Nick Cannon. So Nick Cannon doesn't want his daughters to pick a man like him. So I'm gonna play the clip, and then I give my little take, and we will wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen.
Used to be a player. What changed for you? What is it now? Is it age? Is it just experience?
I think it's a little bit of all of that, but definitely fatherhood more than anything. I mean, when you have five daughters and you're like, all right, I at least want to be able to be true and honest, but like, I can't live the same life that I've always been living and, attempt to, right my wrongs in that sense of where like, hopefully my daughters, learn from my mistakes and not date people like their dad.
And you open up and you say that you used to be a player. What changed for you? What is it now? Is it age? Is it just experience?
I think it's a little bit of all of that, but definitely fatherhood more than anything. I mean, when you have five daughters and you're like, all right, I at least want to be able to be true and honest, but like, I can't live the same life that I've always been living and, attempt to, right my wrongs in that sense of where like, hopefully my daughters, learn from my mistakes and not date people like their dad.
So Nick Cannon admits he hopes his daughter never date men like him. And this video is from Extra TV, and yeah. I seen this clip on Baller Alert. So shout out Baller Alert. Y'all go check them out. They IG and everything. But their caption reads, Nick Cannon is getting real about how being a dad, especially the five daughter, has transformed his outlook on love and accountability. While promoting his upcoming late night show, Cannon opened up to extras Monica Koza Abida about how his past choices and relationships have shaped his present day mindset. When you have five daughters and you're like, all right, I at least want to be able to be true and honest, Cannon said, but I can't live the same life that I've always been living in attempt to right my wrongs in that sense, or where like hopefully my daughters learn from my mistakes and not date people like they're dead. Cannon is the father of 12 children with 6 women, including pop icon Mariah Carey, with whom he shares 2 twins, Moroccan and Monroe. He also has children with Brittany Bell, Abel De La Rosa, Bree Tessie, Lanisha Cole, and Elisa Scott. His youngest, Halo Marie, was born after Cannon and Scott lost their son Zen to brain cancer in 2021. My condolences. Earlier this year, Cannon told People he's pressing pause on expanding his already large family. So, what's y'all thoughts and take on the Nick Cannon situation? What's y'all thoughts and takes on the whole Nick Cannon situation? Um, so basically, he said like he wishes that his daughter don't date men or get with men like him who have multiple kids by multiple baby mamas. And what I'll say about that is, me personally, I don't have any daughters, but if I do have any daughters, my whole goal is to make sure they end up with a man like me and not a F boy. So I would have to, I guess, not agree with bruh, or I would have a different take or different opinion on bruh. If you have daughters and you don't want them, I mean, you either gonna have daughters. It's either gonna be one or two ways, bruh. You either gonna have daughters and you gonna wish that they do end up with a man like you, or you gonna have daughters and wish they don't end up with a man like you. And if you wish they don't end up with a man like you, that mean you not him, bruh. Cause if you was him, you would want your daughter to be with him. So my personal take and my personal opinion on it, bruh, is at the end of the day, bruh, you not really that guy. Yeah, you can get a whole bunch of women. Shout out Mariah Carey. You know what I'm saying? Love Mariah Carey. Love all her tracks. You know what I'm saying? But okay, you can get with these multiple women and you can make babies, bruh. But you basically saying you ain't shit. And you don't want your, I mean, at least you acknowledging that, and I mean that's big, bro. You saying you ain't shit. Excuse my language. At least you acknowledging that and you tapping into that. But you know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, bro, like if I have daughters, bro, I want all my daughters to end up with a man with similar qualities and traits like me, because I know I have certain similar qualities and traits that every man don't have and possess, and my daughters end up with any type of man, I at least want her to end up with a certain type of man that has certain qualities and traits like I have, bro. That know how to control their emotions, bro. That's not gonna get a whole bunch of women pregnant just because I can get a whole bunch of women pregnant. Every man can almost get a. But come on, bro. I could have 12 kids and 6 baby moms right now if I wanted to, bro. Straight up, bro. See these looks, bro. I was born with. Hold on, man. I'm get bro out the way. I'm through with him. Yeah, bro. You see these looks, bro? I was born with this. It's what God gave me with, bro. For real. Think if I ain't want to, I could have 6 baby mamas, bruh. I can get an R&B chick pregnant. I could do all that, bruh. So to say you don't want none of your daughters to end up with a man like you, bruh, you basically saying you a fuck nigga. Straight up, bruh. Just being honest, bruh. That's cool that you can admit that though. I salute you on that one, Nick. Like, that's real nigga shit. You can admit that, bro. You a fuck nigga. But you basically saying that. I'm not a good dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would want all. If I had 6 daughters, bro. If I had 6 of them, I would want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want all 6 of them to end up with a man like me who has similar qualities and similar characteristics. Because I know they always gonna be in good hands, off the muscle, off the dribble. I know when it come down to it, oh yeah, he built like me. He always gonna protect you, shawty. Don't matter what he don't. It ain't even a second guess question. Everything, bro. He going full whatever. Yeah, 10 toes, 2 feet. Yeah, one heart, one mind, one whatever. Like however you want to say it, bro. Like if I had 6 daughters, bro, I know they would be well protected, bro. I know that the man they with would be able to understand that he dealing with women who are emotional creatures. So he is gonna give them certain, a certain, I would say a certain standard, cause he know he dealing with women, bro. So he know they emotional creatures. So he know how to handle when they get emotional. He know how to handle that. Not only that, he know how to control his emotions, bro. He's practicing emotional control. He's recognizing his emotions, bro. So that's just my thoughts on that Nick Cannon situation. Just for you to say, bro, you don't want none of your daughters to end up with a dude like you, that mean you saying you ain't no good, bro. You not him. You really just said you not him. And I'm like, yeah, my daughter, yeah, I had 6 daughters that ended up with 6 of me. Yeah. Him. Yeah, all them him. Yeah. There's only one of me though, but they him, but there's only one of me. So yeah. I just I just want all my daughters to end up with a man like me. I know they're gonna be good husbands, bro. Good boyfriends. Just good men in general. Just a good person in general. You basically say you ain't a good person, bro. You know what you're basically saying. On the outside, and it go back to what I was saying earlier. Everybody attracted to the look. On the outside, it look good, but he basically saying on the inside, he ain't nothing, bro. But we gonna wrap it up on Nightcap. We about to wrap it up, but before we get out of here, y'all know we gotta play our theme before we get out of here. And think about everything I said tonight about emotional control, controlling your emotions, regulating your emotions, controlling your own happiness, your own joy. I'm not gonna even say, and recognizing your own sadness and your anxiety, etc., and your anger. But I'm not expounding on negative, but recognize the negatives. But I don't expound on the negative. I only focus on the positive. So control your own happiness, control your own joy, control your own excitement, control your own joyfulness. You know what I mean? Practice emotional regulation and give yourself time to respond with clarity and not just react. But let's play our theme song. So this has been another episode of Nightcap. Before we wrap it up, and I go, I want to ask y'all this question, or I want to leave you with this question to think about and ponder on to the next episode. What does emotional control actually look like in a healthy relationship? I'm gonna say it again. What does emotional control actually look like in a healthy relationship? I will also leave off by saying this. Reacting off feelings might feel good in the moment, but responding with clarity lasts longer. At the heart of emotional control is emotional regulation, which is the ability to manage your emotional responses rather than letting them dictate your behavior. I'll say that whole statement again. Reacting off feelings might feel good in the moment, but responding with clarity lasts longer. At the heart of emotional control is emotional regulation, which is the ability to manage your emotional responses rather than letting them dictate your behavior. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Nightcap. I am your host, B Rich. I thank everybody for watching. I thank you all for supporting. And until next time, I will see you. Be blessed. Have a beautiful rest of your day.